the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you.
Thank you, Harmony. I have to tell you a quick story about Harmony. About 6 months, a year ago, she couldn't stand in front of a stage and in front of people and sing, and look at her tonight. Papa Tess.
Good evening. It's my pleasure and honor to invite my bishop to lead the prayer and invocation this evening. I'm delighted that when I asked him to do this, that he was more than thrilled to do so, because he understands the importance of the work that we do. So I'd like to introduce Bishop Michael Hunt.
Good evening, my friends. On a night like tonight, the words of the poet Padraig O'Tuma come to my heart from a poem that he wrote about Northern Ireland. When I was a child, I learned to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But these days, I've been counting lives. And so now I count one life, one life, one life, one life, one life. For each time is the first time that that life has been taken. This evening we gather here to remember those lives that we have lost, and also to celebrate those lives, for they live still in the hands of God, and they live still in the hearts of each one of us. The tree behind me holds each of them, and the tree stands evergreen, a witness to the fact that love is stronger than death, for that is our hope, not only for each of these little ones, but for each of us. So I ask you to pray with me, please. May God be with you.
And also with you.
Dear God, creator of all that is, we ask for your blessing upon each of these your little ones, and for the families and friends who mourn them still. We remember their names as we know you do. We remember their lives and their smiles, and we hold the hope which you have given us in our hearts tonight. We ask for your blessing upon this city, for your guidance and wisdom for the leaders of this city, for the mayor, for the city council, for all of our first responders, and for those whose administrative work supports them, that they might be led to wise decisions and right actions for the welfare and peace of this city, that violence may come to an end, that neighbor may greet one another in peace, that we might reach across divides of class and faith and violence to be one family as you would have us be. A strong family capable of raising children to raise their children, to raise their children. In a place where children could play on the streets and old women and old men might watch them with smiles on their faces and joy in their hearts. Amen. And now may the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be upon you and remain with you forever. Amen.
Thank you. Next, Mayor, would you please come up?
Thank you and good evening. Let me begin by introducing a couple of folks that are on stage with me. Some of them are going to be sharing a few words, but all of them are passionate about this issue, and all of them in many ways dedicate the work they do each and every day to the children in our city. First, our Council President, Clarissa Pena. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Clarissa. Also, City Councilor Cynthia Borrego. Thank you for being here, Councilor. Ernie Citabaca from the Hispano Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Ernie. We also have from our police department, Deputy Chief Medina and Commander Burke. Commander Burke especially works on crimes against children. And also Deputy Chief Emily Jaramillo, who works on a lot of our home intervention programs for the fire department. Thank you so much for all you do each and every day. Of course, I want to also thank the Guardians for all that you do in all ways, big and small, and for continuing to be a leader in our community, especially in our homes sometimes when we need it the most. Thank you, Guardians. Now, let me begin, I think, by sharing with you a couple of things. Firstly, unfortunately, we are here today, of course, to remember these children that we have lost. And today we lost another one in our city. Today, a 4-year-old unfortunately lost his life as a result of violent actions. This is a situation that, of course, the details, the investigation, the warrants, the research, they're all so immediate and so raw and so fresh. They're under review right now. But I wanted to especially share this with you to remind everyone. This is a challenge that has been with us for a long time. This is a challenge that is deep. It is inside many of our homes. It is deeply embedded in our neighborhoods. And it is something that unfortunately continues to occur even today in the city of Albuquerque. Now, for us, we know that child abuse is singularly devastating, and it is horrifying. We know that it leaves us heartbroken and angry, but it also leaves us determined to act in any way we can, including being here tonight. It also reminds us that going forward, it is going to continue to take all of us to address child abuse in our community. And we all have a role to play, whether it's those of us in government, whether it's those of us in law enforcement or in the community. And I know here at the City of Albuquerque, we continue with determination and resolve to move forward, to do everything we can when it comes to child abuse. Sometimes it's playing that convener role to bring together agencies that didn't talk to each other enough before. That is especially true when it comes to the new reforms we have with respect to our police department and CYFD, and the fact that we're no longer pointing fingers at each other. We're saying we're all in this together with each other. It also means recommitting to after-school programs and summer programs to keep our kids active and engaged, and importantly, something we don't always talk about but is absolutely part of this, giving children an outlet where they can be exposed to adult role models, and sometimes where adults can also see signs of trouble early. That is also part of why we do all we do after school and over the summer for our kids. So today, I want to remind everyone And here tonight, no one who's here needs this reminder. But for those who are not as aware and not as in touch, we all have a role to play. If you see a child with signs of abuse, please engage in any way you can. It could be a conversation. It could be just learning what the signs really are and what to do about them, which is all available on the internet and various hotlines and helplines that we have. And I want to just recommend, start with call #safe. This is something we all can do something about. And I think most importantly, in our families, where we know this is happening, we might be afraid to come up with a plan with other family members, because we know that we have to engage in this early as soon as we can, and it's also related to addiction. There are ways to get help, and the longer we wait on the sidelines, even if it's a friend of ours or a family member of ours, the longer we could have acted and actually, unfortunately, actually saved a child's life. So I hope everyone tries. I know this is not easy, and I know all of us have experience here with this, even in my own family, in situations where you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to take action. You're torn between loyalty to a brother and worrying about a niece or a nephew. But you have to do something. That is what we have to continue to do, and we can never give up. And we have to remember that for the families that we do have, those actions actually matter going forward. And that tree reminds us more than ever of what happens when we just don't take enough action as a community. Now for us, I think I also want to share, of course, that tonight and over the holidays, I was putting up my Christmas tree last night with my kids, 2 and a 4-year-old. And people often ask me, how do I feel about children who die because of child abuse in our community? And it's impossible for me to know what that feels like. And I hope, to be honest, I never have to know what that feels like. But I do know, and I think about that almost every night when I get the opportunity to gratefully, with absolute appreciation, tuck in my children. And when I get to put up ornaments with them on our Christmas tree, I do think of the children on this tree. And I know it's incumbent upon all of us to remember them and to remember their families and to remember the children and the families that we do have with us, and to hug them tight and appreciate all that we do have together and to be there for each other going forward. Now, with that, I think next up, I'm going to hand it back to our MC. But let me close with one other related point. This event was started by a city councilor named Ken Sanchez. I think many of you know him. He has done a whole lot on this throughout his career, and he also needs our prayers tonight. He's recovering from a medical procedure, a very serious one, and it's going to be a bit of a long road for his recovery. So I ask you, we're certainly here for our children tonight, but there's one counselor in particular who's always been there for our children, and that's Ken Sanchez, and he needs our help as well tonight. Thank you so much.
It is. Next, we have City Council President Clarissa Pena.
Thank you. Thank you, Wizard.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here this evening. It's such a beautiful night to be out here celebrating the lives of these young children who have lost their lives to abuse or violence. Before I get started, I just want to say that, I'm here and I'm proud and humbled to be here, as the mayor stated, on behalf of City Councilor Ken Sanchez. He does this event every year without waiver, and this is something that I know that he really prides himself on, is being part of this organization with the Guardians of the Children and doing this event. He invites everyone every year, the counselors, community members, and just so that you know, this is very near and dear to his heart. So I would just love for a second if we could just bow our heads for my friend Ken and say a little prayer. Thank you. Thank you. We wish Ken a speedy recovery. Today we're here to celebrate the young lives of our community that has lost, of the children that have been lost to abuse and violence. Ernest, thank you and the Guardians of the Children for what you guys do to help be the voice for the youth. God bless you all. As a community, we need to be involved in these efforts to tell someone if you suspect a child in danger. Just today, we received the terrible news of another lost child. This brings to us a total of 60 lives being celebrated at our 4th annual angel tree lighting. In 2019, 11 more, unfortunately, children and angels will be added to our tree. We want to remember these angels and help our community to take care of our most innocent children. Many of our families are here today to represent the angels that we have lost. We thank you for being here today and for sharing your story and your love. I'll just close by saying that, again, Counselor Sanchez, you're in our prayers, and all these children, you are in our prayers. And as the mayor stated, please, please, if you suspect any of these types of activities, please make those calls. Be the difference. Be the change in our community that we need. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Ernie Cidibaca from the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. Just a note about Ernie. He and I go back a little bit, and the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce has done so much to support the Guardians of the Children. So just wanted to thank you for all you do for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tocayo. Whoa, it's kind of cool and crisp this evening, but I'm honored to be here representing the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce and to say thanks to the Guardians for all the great work that they've been doing these past several years. Our goal, as you know, as a community, is to keep them from having to do this work. You know, as the mayor said, this is a tough thing to handle for all of us, especially you all that have lost lives and children, loved ones. But it really takes all of us as a community to do the work to make sure that this doesn't happen, to make sure that we don't have these meetings here every year. We will continue to honor those that we've lost, but we don't want to continue to add ornaments to the tree. So we have to do the things that the mayor said about looking at signs of how we can help each other, the family, the community. I want you to know that I appreciate the work of the Guardians. We are supportive of them. We will honor everything that they do, and we honor you all that are being here today, because I know you don't want to be here. And we are very cognizant of the fact that we have to do things as a community to stop you all from adding more people to come to this thing. God bless you all, and I hope you all can enjoy the rest of the holidays with your family. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernie. Next, we have the City Council Vice President Cynthia Borrego.
Well, good evening, everyone. I am so honored and humbled to be here tonight. I started to think about what I wanted to say, and I guess the first thing that I'd like to say on a cold winter's night, which it is, we are warmed by the lives of the children that have gone before us, and they live in us. And they live through this tree that Counselor Sanchez is always here, and hopefully next year he will be here to dedicate, hopefully not another ornament, but to say that we've gotten a handle on this issue in our community. I think about the lives of, Omari and Victoria Martins and little Lily and Renez May, and all the other children that have been taken too soon from us in our hearts. But if we remember that they always live with us and they always live through us, and if we remember to do something that they did, something that they that gave you a remembrance of them to keep their spirit alive. That's what I ask of you tonight. I was very happy to have the city council and the mayor's support recently with Councilor Sanchez, Councilor Pena, and all of the city councilors who supported a memorial that will be going to the legislature in this session. And that memorial is to ask the legislators to strengthen the penalties for people who commit crimes against children. And we are honored to have Senator Linda Lopez and Representative Joy Garrett, who are going to move that forward. And we realize it's a 30-day session, so they may only have a memorial this year, but next year they have committed to look at our laws and see if there's a way to strengthen those penalties. So with that being said, I wish all of you and your families a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope that next year that we're standing here talking about the lives that we still have and not the lives that we've lost. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you. The Deputy Chief Medina. Thank you for being here.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank the Guardians for continuing to be the voice for those that can no longer speak for themselves, and to ensure that we remember the past so that we don't repeat it in the future. As I was getting ready for this evening, I couldn't help but think back on the past 25 years I've spent in this career, and particularly the 15 years I did on patrol in the field. And the memories that most stick in my mind are those that dealt with the death or the injury of children. And if those memories stick in my mind, and I didn't deal with it every day, there's a select group of special individuals within the Albuquerque Police Department that do this task day in and day out. And I would just like to take this time to recognize the hard work of our Crimes Against Children unit. If they're here, Joe, if you could have them raise their hand. The work they do day in and day out is something that most of us couldn't bear. They have to remain professional the whole time during an investigation, sitting across from an individual they know just hurt a child, just killed a child. And they do this with the utmost of professionalism and put the best case forward that they can in hopes that it'll get prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The Albuquerque Police Department is committed to work with all of our partners to ensure that we do everything we can to identify those individuals who are potentially dangerous to kids, who are putting kids in harm's way, and to make sure that we're building strong cases against these individuals. But the balancing act is on the other side. We have to also make sure that we're committed to ensuring that we go out, we arrest these individuals, we get these cases before the courts, and that the system continues to move forward to keep these people off the streets and to keep our kids safe. That's what the pledge from the Albuquerque Police Department. Like I said, I want to thank our CACU unit, and I want to thank everybody up here for all their support to the police department this past year, and we'll continue to work as hard as we can to make the city of Albuquerque as safe as we can. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, Deputy Chief Jaramillo. And we have a little one. Would he go? Oh.
Yeah, he'll be okay. Hi, good evening, everybody. I have my 4-year-old here. He didn't see me all day, so he ran up on stage. You're not speaking.
Let him speak.
we might regret that. So one of the toughest calls that firefighters respond to are calls with children, and especially children that have been victims of violence. Many of our firefighters are fathers, mothers, they have young children, and when we're treating the injuries that children sustain, it's really hard for us not to visualize our own children and the innocence of our own children and those patients when we're treating them. In my job, it's really hard. Every time we have one of these calls, I have to call all of our firefighters that responded, and it's one of the toughest calls that we make is to check in on them and see how they're doing. And so I know we have some of our firefighters here too, and if you could just give all of our firefighters and first responders a round of applause for the work that they do every day. I just want to end with a quote that I found from Hubert Humphrey. I think he puts it best when he said, "Each child is an adventure into a better life, an opportunity to change the old pattern and make it new." And I think it's time that we consider that, and we consider the importance of providing a healthy environment for our children, and just be committed to changing those patterns of abuse and reporting when we think that there's something not right, just making sure that you take that step and report. So apologize for my very excited 4-year-old. But probably a fitting place for him to want to get on the microphone. So thank you. Can you say thank you? Say thank you, Isaiah. Can you say hi? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Ken Sanchez. I've known Ken for many, many years, since high school days, frankly. And I just want you to know that he plans to be here next year, and we look forward to seeing him here next year. I want to thank everyone that's spoken so far, Mayor and all of our dignitaries here today. We couldn't do what we do without your support. And so thank you for all that you do to support us. Also like to thank all of our entertainers that were here earlier this evening. They did an amazing job for us. So thank you to them. Most of all, thank you for being here tonight. Tonight's a very special night for all of us, but in particular, we want to make tonight's celebration a meaningful event for the families who have lost children. I can't imagine what it must be like, but we're here to support you all and all that you have gone through, and know that your community stands behind you 100%. And if you ever need anything from us, you know we're here for you. I thought I'd take a minute to share with you who the Guardians of the Children are. The Guardians of the Children is a motorcycle organization whose mission is to recognize and react to child abuse and to educate the public to do the same. We serve as advocates for these families when they're in need, when they're in court, when these children have to testify before these perpetrators and tell the stories that they have to tell. If you can imagine a child having to go into court, describe what happened to them in front of a judge, in front of a jury, in front of the perpetrator. And so that's what our mission is, to support these children. We take them on early as we can. We bring them into our organization. We actually have a ceremony that we put on. It's called an adoption. And that adoption ceremony is a ceremony we get to know the children, we bring them in. You see the Guardians and many of our motorcycle club brothers and sisters here wearing cuts. Well, our little Guardians, we give them a cut, we give them a road name so that they know they're part of our organization, and so that they know when they go into court, they're going to be safe, they're going to be secure, and they're going to have the strength to be able to tell what happened to them, so that these perpetrators that have injured them will be put in prison where they belong. So that's who the Guardians of the Children are. These are volunteers. They come from all walks of life. We have nurses, we have business people, we have mothers, we have fathers, we have uncles, we have brothers, and they're all volunteering to be part of this organization because it's in their heart to help these families who have gone through such tragedies. And I can't tell you how proud I am of what these people do. It doesn't matter what time of day or night, 24/7, if I put out a call that says we have a family in need, it's not, well, I'm busy, I've got to go to work. It's where and when and how fast can I get there. So Guardians, on behalf of myself and the community, thank you for what you do. We have a motto. We have a motto, and it says, "Don't let your silence drown out your cries." And if you think about that for a minute, so many children are suffering at the hands of others. And if you see them suffering, please step up. As you hear us say many times, you see something, say something. It may not be an abuse issue, but if it is, you can help save a child's life. So we ask you, as our community, to do that. Looking around who we have here today, we can't do what we do without our community. You've heard that saying that it takes a village. Well, it truly does. We need each and every one of you to look out for our children. Child abuse in our state, regretfully, continues to go up. Just share with you a few statistics from CYFD in 2017, their latest report. In 2017, there were 14,000 cases of reported child abuse. Just let that sink in for a minute. Of those cases, 2,379 were substantiated. If you can imagine, 2,300 of our children were being abused and substantiated by CYFD, and those were 2,698 children who were abused in our state. That has got to stop. You heard earlier talk about legislation. We need legislation to support and strengthen our laws in this community, in our state. As you heard earlier, we have 60 ornaments on our tree. 60 too many. There are 60 ornaments on that tree, and I can tell you that those aren't all of the children that we've lost, but those are the children that the families allowed us to share with you their lives on that tree. So tonight is not a memorial, but tonight is a celebration of the lives of the children that have been lost. We want to make sure that our families feel the love from the city of Albuquerque, our officials, and everyone here. So just know that we are here for you. And we love you guys, and whatever you need, we are here for you. And hopefully next year, we don't add 10 ornaments to this tree. We don't need to do that anymore. We need to take care of our children. So we have one last thing. When the guardians are called, we have a saying that says, when a child calls, we ride. We ride. Thank you. So next, I would like to invite family members. And if we have family members in the audience, please come up and sit here with us. And we'd like to invite you up to talk about your children and celebrate their lives. Tell us something happy about your children, something that is special for them. So, Ron, would you like to go? You start us off.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Veronica Rael Garcia. This is my son Isaac and my husband Alan. In 2015, we lost our Lily, Ileana Rose Garcia. She was shot and killed in a road rage. Since that day, we've tried to bring positive out of that tragedy. It is a daily struggle for all three of us, but we are comforted knowing that this community, that Albuquerque, does remember my Lily and celebrates my Lily. She had a smile ear to ear, and she had a sassy personality, and she loved to sing and dance, and she was just the apple of my eye. She was her father's best friend. She was Isaac's best friend, and she was my world. So we miss her tremendously. It is very difficult during the holiday season, but we thank everybody for all the love and support that you guys have shown me and my family. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Would you like to come speak?
Good evening. Thank you for coming. Join all our families. For all our loved ones we have lost. My name is Darlene Sanchez, and I'm here to represent my granddaughter, Rebecca. I'm going through now challenges of another 4-year-old who I will not let be abused or taken from me. Everyone needs to speak up. You see a child abused, report it. At school, at home, your neighbor, at the store, anywhere, report it. Because one child gone is one too many. Our voices need to be heard. And I thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you so much. God bless.
Do we have any other family members? Okay, come on up.
Good evening. My name's Sylvia Marcus. I'm Amari's aunt. Like he said, tonight we want to share something happy about the children. Amari was very athletic. Amari had a smile that he hid all his abuse. No one ever knew. He has 2 siblings right now. And the one thing I can say that brings joy to me is that they are athletic just like him. And it brings joy to me to watch them succeed at what they do, because I know it's with his guidance that they are succeeding and they are going and doing what they're doing. It is hard during this time because in just a few weeks, it'll be 6 years that he has been gone and taken from us. During this time, it is a struggle for those 2 siblings and the family. But we find our way to hold on to our strength together and to look for that light ahead and to keep moving forward and finding things to do in his name to carry on and not forget. So one thing during the holidays that I can ask is remember these children and please help us to stop adding ornaments to this tree. I know it's not going to end anytime soon. It's going to take years of change within systems connecting, laws changing, and us as a community speaking up and becoming voices for these children. But don't give up. Don't just stop. Continue the fight in all these angels' names, please.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to thank everyone that has come here at this time, knowing it's cold and all, and it really brings warmth to my heart, knowing that you guys have not forgotten these children that we have lost. I'm a grandmother to Jade and Dea that I've lost in February 2016, and it's been 3 years. And me and Jaden were so close. I had him all the time when Mom was working and all, so it's very tough for me. I find myself having to deal with it every single day. It's getting tougher as the days and the years go by. Jaden was such a wonderful child. He was always humble. He always tried to learn new things each day. He always challenged himself to new tasks on a daily basis. Jaden was already walking when he was going into 9 months old, and he was just phenomenal. I mean, he would always wake me up in the morning, he'd slap me in the face, and he knew, and he would get my phone and play with it, and it would just go off until I'd get up and say, Jaden, and he'll be holding the phone like this. But yeah, I mean, everything about him we miss. His smile, just his scent, everything that he did, and it prompts me every single day I go out and I see families with their children, and every now and then I'll tell them, love your child, hug them, tell them how much they mean to you. And it's just, like everybody's saying here, when you see something, say something, please. Make a difference in that child's life. As an individual, I do the best I can to make that difference. I don't really put myself out there. There's families out there that know who I am, and they know what I've done. I've gone out, reached, helped them out with what I can. And when I do that, I turn around and use that as a gift from Jaden. Gift of Jaden is what I call it. And if I could make just that one difference, making a smile on that child's face, then so be it. And it brings warmth to me knowing that I'm making a difference. And again, please, love your children. Be there for them. And if you see something out there, please say something. Report it. It's better to be safe than sorry. Again, I would like to thank each and every one of you guys for being here. And I will sure keep our council, Ken Sanchez, in my prayers as well. Yes, he has done a lot, and he's always been here. Also want to thank the guardians and everybody else that has been doing everything they can to help these children and make a difference. So again, I appreciate it. Thank you, and everybody, I wish you guys all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, my name is Cassandra Scott, and these are my two children. We lost Evan, he was 15, in March by a group of friends he trusted who kidnapped him and took him to the mountains, beat him up, and dropped him off and shot him 3 times. And my son just needed a friend and the proper guidance. He didn't need to be violently taken from us. And so I strongly encourage everybody to hold on tight to their children and pay attention to who they're hanging out with. They need love and guidance. And I thank you, everybody, for your support. And thank you guys as well. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to again thank the guardians of the children for doing this every year, as well as City Council and the mayor. And most importantly, I really want to thank APD and the first responders from our fire department. I know how hard you guys work day in and day out, just trying to fight crime and trying to fight against the child abusers, these murderers, and you guys are just working your tails off, and our community really appreciates it. And I just want to tell you thank you for that, first off. Yes, please give them a round of applause. My name is Nicole Chavez, and this is Ron Silver, and we're the parents of Jaden Chavez Silver. He was murdered in a drive-by shooting at the age of 17, 4.5 years ago now. And, you know, we've been fighting for tougher crime laws, and we've been trying to fight for stronger penalties against child abuse for the last 4 years. So we just need our community members to help us in that fight when we go to legislative session. But I know this isn't about that tonight, it's about celebrating their lives, and I am very thankful that everybody remembers the children that we've lost. And just to talk a little bit about Jaden and what he loved playing football, he loved playing baseball, he loved wrestling, he loved four-wheeling, and he loved Christmas. Christmas and the 4th of July was his most favorite holidays. And he loved going to the New Mexico Bowl with his dad every year. So just when you're doing those things with your sons, if you have sons, just remember those little times and those moments are so precious, because you never know when you'll get another one tomorrow. And those little things that maybe get annoying for you as parents, like you have to go to practice again, or you forgot to take them their lunch so you have to drop it off, or you have to scrub their dirty practice pants again. I mean, I wish I could do anything to scrub those dirty practice pants again, or go to a freezing cold game. So just appreciate the little things. And I think most importantly, he loved his 3 sisters that are standing with me. The other 2 are sitting down. But Jaden just loved life, and if you saw his smile, then you'd know that he was just full of life and full of energy and loved every single person in it. Before I go, I'm going to just let Ron talk for a second.
Hi, again, my name is Ron Silver, and I am the proud parent of Jaden Chavez Silver. And in celebration, I just wanted to talk about that he was a proud brother to his 3 sisters, and I always used to tell him that the pressure was on him because of the 3 beautiful daughters that I got that he was the big brother of. And it has been 4.5 years, and it doesn't get any easier. And it's a call in a situation that I wish upon nobody. And I just want to, my dad always taught me that you make a positive out of every situation, and I've had to call my dad and tell him there is no positive in this situation, and I'm sorry to say that. The only positive that we can do as a family, as we can do as a community, as we can do as anybody, is to educate and to stop the violence and stop everything that's happening, especially to children. And I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and thank you.
Well, it's that time. It's time to get ready to light the tree. I do want to take a minute to thank the Albuquerque Convention Visitors staff, Damien and Jose. They do a tremendous job every year helping us to get this set up. So please, if you see them, thank them. They have a great facility. They do so much for our community, and they are truly supporters of the Guardians of the Children. So, Mayor, can I ask you to start up and get up here, and we'll have the honor of you doing the countdown?
All right.
All right.
Go 5 backwards.
Oh, let's do 10.
Okay. All right. We're doing 10.
Okay, so we'll wait, make sure everyone's in position.
We're ready.
Okay, so we should do this together. So if you can join me, 10 down to 1 backwards.
No, 100 down.
Let's do it together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Light up.
Got a
I
little
told you it.
plug outlet back
Told
there.
you it was 100.
Hold on, count down again. I like the from 100 idea.
99. Hey!